Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Curious Kingdom. Today we are recapping science fiction movie Childhood's End. In the remnants of an ancient city, Milo confides in a drone, revealing that he is the last surviving human, urging his audience not to forget about humanity. His attention then shifts to a peculiar mark on his hand, triggering memories of how it all began. The year is 2016, and the world is plagued by wars, poverty, and widespread decay under the existing system. Milo, a young wheelchair-bound child in New York with aspirations of becoming an astrophysicist, is caught in the chaos. Meanwhile, in Missouri, Ricky experiences a loss of phone signal, oblivious to a plane making an unexpected landing nearby. Simultaneously, all across the globe, machines start malfunctioning in unison. Cell communications become jammed, forcing planes to land wherever possible, causing panic in cities. The sky becomes obscured by fog, and massive spaceships descend, blocking out the sun. Amidst the growing panic and military mobilization, people begin having strange visions of their deceased loved ones. These visions are revealed to be illusions created by Carolyn, an alien supervisor from the Overlords, a race that has taken charge of Earth. Carolyn explains that they have come to eradicate suffering, injustice, hunger, and sickness, creating a new era known as utopia. In the following days, the aliens fulfill their promise, and wars cease worldwide, leaving reporters astonished by the former enemies now laying down their weapons and joining hands. However, those in positions of power are discontented since wars have always been a lucrative business for them. In Missouri, Ricky's neighbors grapple with uncertainty, but Ricky suggests they remain patient, as the aliens have only been assisting so far and not shown signs of aggression or invasion. Later that evening, Ricky and his wife Ellie notice strange behavior from their household appliances. The situation escalates as the house begins to shake, prompting the couple to seek refuge in the cellar. A mysterious force envelops the house, removing the screws from the door to reach Ricky. As the house disintegrates around him, Ricky emerges to find a massive drone awaiting his presence. After Ricky agrees to board the spacecraft, it promptly returns his house to its original position. In a startling turn of events, a colossal spaceship hovers above the White House, while Ricky is whisked away by the drone, finding himself instantaneously transported to the opulent surroundings of a New York hotel room. This illusion conjures memories of Ricky's honeymoon with his late wife, but he soon recognizes it as a mere fabrication. The voice of Carolyn, without a visible form, addresses Ricky and asks him to act as an intermediary between the Overlords and humanity. Initially overwhelmed, Ricky suggests that a politician should take on this role, but Carolyn asserts that politicians are corrupt, whereas Ricky has earned the trust of his community through honorable means. As a token of trust, Carolyn gifts Ricky a mysterious device without divulging its purpose. Meanwhile, at the White House, a desperate mother brings her ailing baby toward the hovering spaceship, resulting in a miraculous healing. Soon after, government officials and the media converge on Ricky's farmhouse to cover the unprecedented alien abduction. When the drone departs, leaving Ricky behind, government agents surround him, demanding the mysterious gadget and resorting to threats of violence. Refusing to yield, Ricky's wife Ellie arrives with a camera to document any potential brutality. Ultimately, Ricky is compelled to surrender the device, and upon its examination, the baby in Washington experiences a miraculous recovery. News from around the world begins to pour in, reporting a gradual disappearance of diseases, including previously incurable ones. As the appointed ambassador, Ricky is invited to deliver a speech at the White House, addressing the people of Earth. However, Ricky becomes increasingly apprehensive as he struggles to answer reporters' questions satisfactorily. His statement that Carolyn believes the world is not yet ready to see him causes further unease among the media. From then on, whenever Carolyn needs to communicate with Ricky, he retrieves him in the drone, presenting the illusory hotel setting as their meeting place. As time passes, the Overlords extend their assistance to resolve other global issues such as hunger and poverty, utilizing Ricky as a diplomatic liaison between nations. Nevertheless, some individuals remain skeptical, suspecting that the aliens have ulterior motives and may be paving the way for an invasion. This skepticism leads to the rise of a resistance movement known as the Freedom League, backed by media tycoon Hugo, which gains followers and orchestrates protests to challenge Carolyn's benevolence. Ricky endeavors to persuade Carolyn to reveal himself to the public in an effort to gain their trust, but Carolyn continues to decline the request. Meanwhile, Milo's exceptional intelligence secures him a full scholarship, and he avidly follows news about the aliens while endeavoring to decipher their advanced technology. One evening, Milo witnesses a confrontation between his mother and a dealer at their residence. In the heat of the confrontation, the dealer pulls out a gun and strikes Milo's mother. Milo bravely tries to defend her, resulting in the dealer shooting him in the chest. However, a mysterious beam of light suddenly descends from the sky, rapidly neutralizing the dealer and miraculously healing Milo's wound. Not only that, but Milo finds himself now capable of walking again. The incident gains significant media coverage, with media tycoon Hugo accusing the aliens of assuming godlike powers. Meanwhile, Ricky and Ellie's relationship faces strain due to Ricky's increasing absence. One day outside his farm, Ricky is knocked unconscious and abducted. He awakens in a remote base under the watchful eye of the Freedom League. Ellie pleads with the aliens to bring her husband back while Ricky is taken to meet Hugo, who plans to wrest power away from the Overlords by undoing all the positive changes they've brought to humanity. Unbeknownst to Hugo, Carolyn secretly broadcasts this meeting to the world. Ricky vehemently refuses to support such a malevolent plan, leading Hugo to order his execution. But before the fatal bullet can hit Ricky, the aliens intervene, freezing time around him and disrupting the broadcast. The drone retrieves Ricky, and he finds himself once again in the illusionary world with his deceased wife. Initially tempted to remain in the illusion, Ricky ultimately returns to reality and reunites with Ellie at the farm. The following day, Ricky confronts Carolyn, questioning why the aliens allowed him to be kidnapped in the first place. Carolyn explains that it was part of a strategic plan to discredit the Freedom League, which has now disbanded. Carolyn also reveals that the initial phase of their intervention is complete and dismisses Ricky from his role. Ricky, seeking answers, manages to take a photograph of Carolyn's hidden face before being returned to the farm. Ricky and Ellie proceed with planning their wedding. Yet some religious groups remain resistant to accepting the aliens' leadership. Reporters announce that Hugo has taken his own life, and Milo decides to devote himself to becoming the first person to visit the aliens' planet. A decade later, Milo has grown into a young man who graduated from MIT and now serves as an astrophysicist at the World Federation, Earth's unified government. Ricky and Ellie live contentedly as a married couple but face the unfortunate reality of being unable to have children. Across the globe, peace and prosperity reign, thanks to the advanced technology provided by the aliens. Finally, after accomplishing their objectives of creating a perfect world, Carolyn chooses to reveal himself. A grand event is organized at a stadium, and as the spaceship lands, two children excitedly rush to welcome Carolyn. To the astonishment of everyone, Carolyn's true appearance resembles that of the devil. Although this revelation disturbs some individuals, life continues peacefully on Earth under the watchful eye of the Overlords. Renewable energy, harmony, and good health abound, creating a utopian paradise. However, Milo becomes increasingly concerned about the decline of scientific inquiry when space programs are terminated, leading to him losing his job. Seeking new opportunities, he accepts a position at a research facility in Africa where he forms a good rapport with a woman named Rachel. One night, Ricky wakes to find a beam of light outside his home, leading him to the toolshed where Carolyn awaits. Carolyn apologizes to Ricky and shares significant news. Ellie witnesses the drone flying away, but Ricky conceals the real conversation, stating that Carolyn was merely checking on them. As word spreads, people gather around the farm, interpreting Carolyn's visit as a sign. Ellie demands the truth from Ricky, who reveals that Carolyn spoke of a new destiny for Earth. Meanwhile, strange occurrences unfold at the African research facility. The building shakes, and the aliens create a new room containing a peculiar device that resembles a massive Ouija board. Dr. Boyce, intrigued by the discovery, believes the aliens intend for them to communicate with someone or something. Researching the history of Ouija boards, Boyce realizes their connection to Satan as they divulged information only God should know. In a house in the American suburbs, young child Tommy experiences nightmarish visions and witnesses the drone's light beam directed at his mother, Amy. Following this event, Amy begins saying cryptic phrases, and Tommy acts strangely, speaking unsettling words about an end and a new beginning. Jake, Tommy's father, becomes increasingly worried about his son's behavior and the mysterious light. In an attempt to address Tommy's troubling visions, they consult Counselor Peretta, who grapples with her own faith as the child of a missionary in a world seemingly devoid of the need for God. During their session, Tommy confides in Peretta about terrifying apocalyptic visions involving a colossal eye covering the sun, which he believes are more than mere dreams. As Peretta inquires further, Tommy's mental state becomes increasingly unstable, and he flees in panic, haunted by the sound of a crying baby. As Peretta draws closer to Tommy's family to understand his visions, an invisible force nearly strangles her with the crucifix chain, compelling her to remove it for safety. Surprisingly, when Tommy touches Amy's stomach, the baby's crying ceases, even though Amy was previously unaware of her pregnancy. Perplexed and fearful, Peretta seeks answers from a priest, who advises her not to lose her faith in the face of uncertainty. Meanwhile, Milo reports disturbing observations of lab and wild animals displaying eerie behavior with glowing green eyes. However, Boyce's primary concern remains securing an invitation from Carolyn to visit his exoplanet, urging his employees to act appropriately to avoid disrespecting the alien. At the farm, Ricky suffers from unexplained arm pain, which worsens when he confronts the crowd seeking alien news, leading to a stroke. At the hospital, the doctor reveals that Ricky was poisoned during his interaction with Carolyn's ship, which has also caused fertility issues for Ricky and Ellie. Meanwhile, Peretta, in her research, is deeply unsettled by the parallels between Carolyn and demonic descriptions. Milo and Rachel engage in heated discussions about philosophy and religion, with Milo positing that humanity has long foreseen the arrival of benevolent beings like the Overlords. Months later, Amy discovers she is pregnant, and when she selects the name Jennifer, Tommy unexpectedly says the name aloud before she can. Peretta visits Tommy's house to pray for them, and when she raises her crucifix, the alien drone retreats. She tries to warn the family of impending evil, but they dismiss her concerns. Concerned about Ricky's condition, Peretta travels to the farm to support the people camping outside. She befriends Ellie and learns more about their situation. In the meantime, Boyce organizes a party event and invites Jake's family under the guise of a job interview. During the party, Boyce reveals that Carolyn is present and that the facility is shipping animals to Carolyn's home planet for a zoo. Jake learns that Boyce is shutting down the facility to prevent any real interviews. Boyce takes Amy to the chamber with the Ouija board, enabling Carolyn to communicate with the entity growing inside her and sending a cryptic message to the skies. Jake tries to find Tommy, but the boy resists leaving. In the chamber, Boyce experiences a nosebleed, and Carolyn communicates with the entity. As the events intensify, Amy and Tommy both experience distress, pushing away Jake and Boyce when they try to comfort them. Amy enters a trance and uses the Ouija board to direct the light, while Tommy ascends to the roof and announces that Jennifer is awake before falling. Carolyn states that Amy's task is complete, and others will follow, implying that more entities like Jennifer will be born. Meanwhile, Milo discovers that Carolyn's light beams represent his people's alphabet, leading him and Rachel to decipher the symbol on the constellation chart, which indicates the Carina system, the Overlord's home world. Excited by their findings, they share a kiss. Carolyn pays another visit to Ricky and Ellie, presenting Ricky with a vial of rare and powerful medicine to heal him. However, Peretta interrupts and accuses Carolyn of deception. In response, Carolyn confesses that he sterilized Ricky out of kindness, fearing the approaching end of Earth's day. A distraught Peretta shoots Carolyn, but Ricky saves him with the medicine. Carolyn emphasizes that nothing can prevent what is coming. Peretta's faith wavers, and she experiences visions of her deceased mother, leading to a tragic fall from a balcony. Boyce realizes that Carolyn requested animals to create a new ark, suggesting he plans to preserve species before the Earth's inevitable demise. Amy gives birth to Jennifer, who exhibits unusual glowing green eyes. 4 years later, the new generation of children, raised in the utopia created by the Overlords, demonstrates significant strength and psychic abilities. Milo, now dating Rachel, is tasked with studying the children's unique development. Ricky, still struggling with pain, relies on advanced chips connected to his arm to stay alive. In New Athens, a resistance emerges among those who cling to the old ways of life and anticipate an impending end. Carolyn visits Ricky to disclose the future of the world, offering him the option to leave and be spared. However, Ricky declines the offer. As the situation escalates, children around the world fall into a trance-like state, chanting Jennifer's name and raising their hands toward the sky. Older children arrive at Tommy's house, seeking their leader, as visions of new worlds are shown to them through Jennifer. Jake tries to reason with the children, but they appear undeterred, filling the streets in search of their new path. As Amy checks on Jennifer, she reassures her that there's no need to be afraid as she sees everything. Jennifer uses her powers to communicate directly with Tommy and the other children's minds. Meanwhile, Jake decides it's time for their family to move to New Athens, where they find the city reverting to its pre-alien state, with pollution, overcrowding, and a sense of decay. Jennifer uses her powers to clear the streets for them. In New Athens, they meet Mayor Jerry, who values real free will over the previous utopian state and is willing to accept the consequences, even if the city fails. The children continue to stare oddly at Jennifer in this new setting. Amy convinces Jake to talk to Milo about Jennifer, and he reluctantly asks her a few questions. During the conversation, Jennifer shows Milo a vision of the planet's destruction, shocking him. Desperate to save Earth, Milo plans to sneak into the Overlord spaceship with the next shipment of animals. Rachel helps him despite her sadness about his departure. Later, she successfully sneaks Milo into the spaceship with the animals, and they bid each other farewell with a kiss. Back at the farm, Ricky is in excruciating pain, and the chips are no longer effective. He experiences an illusion in the hotel room, revisiting old memories, but realizes it's not real. He confronts Carolyn, refusing to stay in the illusion and expressing his gratitude to Ellie for teaching him how to love again. Jennifer announces that it's time for the next stage of evolution, revealing that the children will become superhuman and leave Earth, with no more children being born on the planet. Pregnant women realize they've lost their babies, and children float into the sky, detached from their parents' pleas. Tommy stays behind. The family finds Jerry at the cemetery, where his daughter is buried. He has activated a bomb to destroy New Athens, believing humanity has no future without children. Despite their efforts to reason with him, Tommy decides to join his sister, leaving a tragic ending to this transformative era of Earth's history. Amy and Jake accept their fate and hold hands as the bomb detonates, destroying New Athens. Meanwhile, Jennifer absorbs the energy of every being on Earth from atop a mountain in a powerful display of her abilities. Milo wakes up on the Overlord's ship, surviving thanks to medicine he injected earlier. He learns that 40 years have passed on Earth during his journey, and the Overlords follow the orders of the Overmind, a collective consciousness that guides their actions across the universe. Milo is taken to meet the Overmind, represented by an orange shadow, and is overwhelmed by the revelation that it is both God and evolution. The Overmind explains that the children have moved on, and the remaining humans will be integrated into the cognitive melting pot, struggling to process everything. Milo asks to be taken back to Earth and loses consciousness. When he wakes up, he finds that around 85 years have passed, and humanity is extinct. The Overlords retrieve Rachel's aged frozen body, but Milo's anger causes it to shatter, leaving a burnt mark on his hand. Carolyn confirms that Milo is the last human and offers him the chance to stay with the Overlords, but Milo declines. Instead, he chooses to return to Earth to report the findings of interest, as the Overlords have never studied a planet after its destruction before. In a desperate attempt to preserve some remnant of human culture, Milo records the story from the beginning. When he returns to the mountain, he finds Jennifer still absorbing the last remaining energy from Earth. As the planet's destruction becomes imminent, Milo pleads with Carolyn to save something as a memento of humanity. The Overlords grant Milo a final gift by playing his memories, allowing him to relive the cherished moments and feelings of his life. For a fleeting moment, Milo experiences happiness once more, but it is short-lived as the planet ultimately explodes, leaving nothing behind. In the end, all that remains is the memory of Earth and its inhabitants, as the universe moves on, leaving Milo as the last witness to humanity's existence. The miniseries left viewers to ponder about subjects like religion, Satan, Earth's eventual fate, and whether there is some grand cosmic plan behind events that happen. That's all for today, folks. Like, share, and subscribe for more such content. Curious Knight signing off. Stay safe, stay curious.